stay on the commission.
Often accuse people. Maybe.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 16th Post Falls Urban Renewal Agency meeting. Can we have a roll call?
Clemensen,
Here.
Coles,
Here.
Fleischman,
Here?
Crosby,
Here.
Rodriguez,
Here.
Parmentier.
Here.
Okay. And will you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any ceremonies, appointments, and announcements?
I do not.
Okay. Conflict disclosure. Does anyone have any conflict to disclose? Okay, moving right along. We will move to the consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Item A in the consent calendar is the District Review Committee Minutes, March 19th, 2026. Item B is the Commission Meeting Minutes, March 19th, 2026. Item C is the Finance and Policy Committee Meeting Minutes of March 19th, 2026. Item D is the Commission Workshop Minutes from April 7th, 2026. Item E is the payables for this month totaling $8,452.22. Item F is the bank activity report, which shows total funds in all accounts of $5,306,644.24 and accrued interest for the month of $12,446.83. Item G is the financial reports as of March 31st. Approval of the consent calendar will authorize a transfer of $8,452.22 to the First Interstate checking account for the monthly payables and $12,446.83 accrued interest to the general fund. Madam Chair, I would answer any questions.
I have no questions. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
Move to approve.
Second the motion.
Okay, that passed.
Roll call vote? Is that
Roll call vote.
yes? Clemensen,
Aye.
Fleischman,
Aye.
Crosby,
Aye.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Parmentier,
Aye.
Coles.
Aye.
Okay, now that passed. I was just trying to hurry us along here. We've got committee updates. Yep. Crosby?
Finance and policy met earlier this month. We reviewed the engineering services budget. We made some recommendations that were discussed at the workshop. We also reviewed the economic impact study, the potential closure of Pleasant View, and the audit and the auditor for next year, this year and next year.
Okay. Thank you. District review. We met on March 19th, and we did get a couple of status updates on the Beyond Green reimbursement, on the A&A OPA addendum and reimbursement. We discussed the Prairie Medical Campus. They had an electrical infrastructure request, and we discussed St. Vincent de Paul. They are inquiring about what urban renewal could maybe possibly help with. And then we got an update on a possible new district on East Saltese. Communications, property, and personnel.
We're trying to schedule a meeting for next month, likely going to be in conjunction with the commission meeting, same day. And the agenda will focus on various items as how they impact next year's budget.
Okay, thank you. Citizen comments. This section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the commission regarding an agency-related issue. Comments related to future public hearings should be held for that public hearing. Persons wishing to speak would have 5 minutes. And I see we don't have anyone. All right, moving on to unfinished business.
Just have one item of unfinished business. This is the Urban Renewal Commission's Code of Ethics. The Code of Ethics document was presented at the April 7th Commission workshop at the recommendation of the Finance and Policy Committee. This latest version of the document includes Councilor Brisson's revisions together with revisions that address concerns expressed at the April 7th workshop. It is presented for the purpose of continued commission discussion and/or consideration for approval.
Do we have any discussion on this? I know there was a couple of edits we wanted to have made. Okay, is everybody happy with that? If that is the case, then we would vote to approve.
I would move to approve the ethics document as presented.
I
Second
second that.
motion.
Okay, roll call vote.
Coles,
Aye.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Fleischman,
Aye.
Crosby,
Aye.
Parmentier,
Aye.
Clemensen.
Aye.
Okay, that passed.
One question, since it's been approved, when would it be presented for our individual signatures?
I do have a copy for each
Okay.
commissioner present
Okay.
here this morning. I can hand those to you now if you'd like to sign.
Sure, I think that would be great. As long as nobody else has a issue with that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to pass a pen around. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Commissioner Crosby. He put some work into this, so thank you very much for putting that together for us and suggesting that we do that. I think it was a great idea, and I think we all agreed, and I'm glad that we got to do that.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Okay. All right, do we have any new business to discuss?
We do not have any new business items.
Okay. How about our staff report and any updates?
I have one item. On April 13th, city staff held a meeting on the subject of forming a new urban renewal district in the East Saltese vicinity. The Urban Renewal Agency was represented by Commissioner Fleischman, Commissioner Coles, and myself. A variety of property owners and representatives participated in this discussion. Community Development Director Bob Steele provided a presentation on the potential district, the same presentation given at the Joint City Council Urban Renewal Commission workshop on November 18th, 2025. The city is working towards sending out a letter to property owners informing them of the potential district and encouraging them to consider annexation if they are not already in the city. One representative of multiple property owners along Saltese said that most would be supportive of creating a district. The city will engage property owners with a consent to annexation document and is considering the possibility of waiving annexation application fees. Once annexation activity is clear, the district boundary can be determined and an economic feasibility study initiated. Discussion also took into consideration the potential for allowing several property owners to move forward with development by connecting to existing city infrastructure. This activity could generate initial increment revenue to serve toward acquiring bond financing for the construction of more costly infrastructure, which would support additional development of the commercial and industrial property throughout the area. That concludes my staff report. We
Okay.
also have Bob Steele in attendance, who provided the presentation, if you had any other questions for either myself or him.
I had one. You mentioned the representative of the property owners had generally favorable comments. Was there any negative or anti urban renewal district type of commentary provided at that meeting? Any
For the most
any
part,
further obstacles noted?
No, there was not. No, it was all relatively favorable, supportive, questioning as to, how it could be facilitated, how it could move forward, and what it would look like. The basic nuts and bolts of the infrastructure that's needed, and how much it's going to cost, and how it could be funded, what kind of time frame. All those things were knocked around and discussed. But for the most part, it was a very helpful meeting and very, very positive meeting.
I thought it was very positive. A number of the landowners not only came in a positive framework, but they also made suggestions as to others to contact, things they might do which would assist the city in locating a lift station in that area, people that they might speak with that owned vacant property. And then I think that, I think we also need to compliment city staff, particularly Bob Steele. They did an excellent job with the presentation. They came up with, I think, the excellent options for the folks to consider. And then the participants themselves suggested that there were certain pieces of property that could be potentially developed within the confines of the existing sewer system, which would then help create the tax increment that would support the expansion of that system. So I thought it was a very, very positive meeting.
Yeah, I agree.
For the residents of Pine Villa, sent a letter, Bob. I think I know the answer.
Short answer is no letters have been sent yet. We're going to work on putting together that draft boundary and get those letters out. I did receive a text from one of the gentlemen that was in attendance last night, and he's starting the process of going and meeting with some of the landowners to talk about, would you like to join? This is what we're looking at. As Joe noted, the likely possibility of waiving the annexation application fees, which usually amount to around $3,000.
How about the annexation fees?
No, I'm not going to offer to waive annexation fees. Those are paid at development. So if you don't develop your property, you're not going to have to pay those fees. But if you do develop your property and it's going from bare land to something else, then it would be paying those fees. If you're going from a residential to a commercial, you're likely to pay some of those fees as well. But
I would think there would be a discussion about that in the future as you kind of flesh out that boundary and the needs of the city, because I do think it might be worth considering waiving those fees to get some of those pieces to participate if they're waffling.
yeah, no, and that's a good point. That's a good point. We did not do that for Pleasant View, and that's just kind of what I was basing it off of today.
Sure.
Looking at waiving those types of fees, I would want to get the council nod on that type of scenario, because it's more substantial than an application fee. So, and I think that we've got some ways to go, but I'd like to be able to try and see if this is something that we can get wrapped up in approximately a year's time. But it'll take some legwork to do so. But I'm positive that it can get through. So.
Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
All right, do we have any commissioner comments?
No?
Okay.
Oh, Leffel's getting out of the rehab hospital on Sunday, so Lumpy will be back amongst you soon enough.
Good news. That's very good news. Chairman comments. The only comment I wanted to say was just thank you to all my fellow commissioners. You guys were volunteers, and I just am inspired by working with all of you guys, working for a better city and the things that we do. So I'm just proud to be working alongside of you guys, and thank you for your community volunteerism. I appreciate it. And then at that, if we don't have any other business, then I would make a motion to adjourn.
Just announce the meeting's adjourned.
Okay, well, then the meeting is adjourned.